Sport utility vehicles have had a huge evolution over the last several decades, going from a very truckish-like vehicle to more of a car-like design. Hey, welcome to this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Robertson. Now behind me is such the case, the 2017 Nissan Pathfinder. And what you see with this vehicle is a true representation of where we were and now where we are. The Nissan Pathfinder debuted back in 1987, and that model a stark contrast to what you see here. Now that one's more specifically designed around a truck-like platform, even a truck-like exterior, really a two-door model with that typical truck rear end. Now as the evolution of this vehicle has come about, we saw a second, third generation that started to change things just a little bit. But the fourth generation truly has evolved to the new standard for midsize SUVs. And what I'm referring to is more of a car-like feel. Now this vehicle still has a rugged prowess. It's a four-wheel drive, has tons of towing capability, so nowhere close to the San Market. But what I like is it's, well, smooth around the edges. And you see that in the profile. Really just a little bit more appointments, a little bit more dressed up, and really refined, especially over the last 30 years. The Nissan Pathfinder is technically classified as a midsize SUV, fitting into that segment quite well, but actually delivering a lot more length than the competition, reaching around about 198 inches, in some cases about a foot longer than some of its competitors. As for the wheelbase, around about 114 inches. Now width and height are going to be similar, height just under 6 feet, the width just over. As for ground clearance, what I truly like is it's really high off the ground. About a 7-inch ground clearance, really giving this vehicle that off-road prowess. Coupled with that, of course, is true four-wheel drive. So even though this vehicle is feeling more sedan-like, has evolved quite well over the decades, it still is a rugged vehicle. Now I'm a big fan of exterior colors, specifically, well, if they're subdued. I'm a big fan of the black or the silvers or even whites, so this one was a stark contrast. Specifically, this one is called Sandstone, has a goldish kind of look, and really, well, takes the wow factor to the next level. Now, as for guerrilla warfare on mid-size, smaller SUVs, they're gonna be more of a subdued approach versus full-size SUVs that want to give you that guerrilla warfare and that kind of prowess like they own the road. What Nissan Pathfinder does here is do a little somewhere in between, a little guerrilla warfare, but refinement all the way around. And what you're going to see is the family grille right across the middle, typical chrome accents, nice black grille in the middle, and huge Nissan emblem. Otherwise, there's body color wrapping the vehicle all the way around. Now, as for the headlights, this is typical with the industry. Nice sweeping huge headlights under a huge lens and dynamic projection headlights. Fog lights tucked down low and a lot of airflow, of course, sweeping through the middle. Back in the first generation, you used the old traditional key to access the vehicle, crank it up, and do anything you need with it. As for the fourth generation, it's good old smart technology, pretty much meaning you never interact with the key itself, you only interact with the vehicle. Now what I like is it makes ingress so much quicker. And what you're gonna find here on the Pathfinder is not the intuitiveness with the handle, but instead a simple button. You press it once, it unlocks the driver's door. Press it again, it unlocks the rest. The security also goes back to the fill-up area. When this vehicle is locked, this is locked just the same. When the vehicle is unlocked, of course it pops right open. Now one thing I wish we would evolve to is the good old capless system versus the cap you see here. As this vehicle has grown over the decades and gotten a little bit bigger, and like I said before, creeping into maybe even that full-size segment, you're gonna expect, well, some more power under the hood. First thing I'm gonna do is lift it and see, well, the functionality even right here. And what you're gonna find is it is a somewhat arduous task to unlatch the hood itself. Once you do, this is gonna be, well, first generation technology with the old manual lift. Now you're gonna have to go to the first generation here and prop it in place. Now once you do that, what you're gonna find is a decent engine. Now what's great is it has been increased for 2017, specifically with a 3.5 liter V6 engine that has more power, torque, and towing capacity. The engine utilizes more than 50% new or new to Pathfinder engine parts and components, including combustion chamber design, pistons, intake manifold, and EVTC, which is fully electronic on the intake. The engine's new direct injection gasoline system, which is also utilized on the all-new flagship Nissan Armada, provides better wide open throttle performance and improved fuel economy and emissions. As for horsepower for the new V6, it increases to 284 horses versus the previous 260. Torque is also now rated at 259 foot-pounds of torque up from 240 on the previous model. And now while adding more horsepower and torque for the Pathfinder, fuel economy still remains the same at 20 miles per gallon in the city, 27 miles per gallon on the highway, and a 22 combined on average. Swinging around to the business end of the Pathfinder, one area that couples nicely with that increase in engine power, of course, is in towing capabilities. And this is one area that Nissan realized it needed to increase, because after all, with all the room to carry the family and even friends to the lake, you got to be able to bring the big boy toys. And now towing capabilities has definitely increased in the tune of about 1,000 more pounds to a total of 6,000 pounds of towing capabilities. Well, of course, when properly equipped. Now, what you're also going to like on the Pathfinder is the cargo here at the back end. And it all starts with this nice power lift gate. You simply press the button and it rises to the occasion, of course, somewhat slowly. Once it's up out of the way, you're going to notice 16 cubic feet of space behind the third row. That rivals even a full-size sedan. With the third row laid flat, it's going to more than triple the space, and of course, even more increase it if you lay all the seating flat at the back end. 3 decades of evolution is no more evident than when you climb inside the vehicle and see the refinement that such an evolution brings. And where you notice it really is in the driver's seat. First, the overall comfort, the bolstering, the leather, and of course, all the innovations. First thing I truly like is, of course, the legroom numbers. Now, what you're going to find up front is a little bit around 42 inches. Plenty of room for my 6-foot-plus frame. What was more surprising, though, was in the second row. That one delivering about 41 inches, more than enough for any second row passenger. Now, in the very back, that one's going to kind of go way down to about 30 inches. But what I find is there's about a 5-inch give there in the second row, pretty much meaning if you divide up the options in the back, you can find comfort anywhere you sit. Front center on the dash is a huge touchscreen system, a little bit further than an arm stretch away, so for the most part, you're going to try to utilize the buttons down below. Now, one thing I don't like is that when the vehicle cranks up, navigation screen is kind of the default screen. I typically don't need that during my average city driving. Preferably, I'd rather have a default screen of audio or even a home screen that allow you to select. Otherwise, every time you crank up the car, you definitely have to navigate to this before you start going. Diving a little bit closer, specifically at the radio audio settings, what you're going to notice is nice presets down below. Now, there's tons of presets that you can sort through, set, and all that. Now, one thing I did notice is currently I'm on my Prime Country favorite radio. However, the yellow indicator here shows that I'm possibly on something else. These actually two don't relate. What I prefer is the radio I'm on when I'm on my preset has that nice yellow highlight, so pretty much it all matches up. Now, looking at the control buttons for the entertainment, navigation, all that, first thing you'll notice really is the huge oversized navigation up top and all the buttons that go with it. Now, there are some shortcuts for the functions we mentioned earlier, but this to me is, well, just a little bit too cumbersome. What I prefer is maybe a central dial like this, actually down between the front seats. Otherwise, this is just real bulky. Now, down below, you will find navigating the radio quite easy with this. I like the tune select, allowing you to scroll right through. Volume knob, all of it nice and symmetric. You do have the basic presets here. And of course, you have the quick shortcuts down below. Otherwise, we can declutter this just a little bit by configuring this area. For climate control, what you're going to find is more symmetric knobs that do match the radio knobs just the same, making everything look nice and balanced. Now, this particular model did come with a tri-zone system, dual zones up front, allowing both passenger and driver to cool down or heat up as they please. Nice shortcuts for the mode and good symmetric knob for the fan. You will have access to controls in the back for the backseat passengers, or you can turn it on up front. For the gauge clutch, you're going to find a standard analog tach and speedometer with a nice digital readout in between. Now, digital readout gives you various different types of information and setting and tire pressure monitor and things like that. What it didn't have, though, was a digital readout for speed, one function I truly think all vehicles should go to. For off-road worthiness, it all starts right here with the four-wheel drive select, allowing you to pretty much find your economy mode or kind of off-road prowess with the typical selection here. To take comfort to the next level, this vehicle does have heated seats, but also nice cooled seats for both front driver and passenger. Just simply dial in your comfort. Backseat drivers are definitely going to complain that there's no comfort for them, and well, they're going to find plenty back here. And it starts again with that tri-zone system. They also have connectivity pretty much in the form of that household outlet there, and even heated seats no cool ones back here. Now what you're going to find is kind of a stylized bench seating. It's a split 60-40ish kind of style, meaning you can flip and fold these however you want. What I also like is a nice flat floor here, no reason for a hump, and pretty much mean there's plenty of room for everyone's feet. Now as for the function back here, really easy to use. You do have the handle here. That's going to make it a nice flat cargo area. Now as for ingress, they've made that quite simple. Pretty much with the handle here on the side, you're going to pull up, it's going to tumble these two forward and allow it to slide forward. That's going to allow you to easily ingress into this third row and make transitioning so much easier. Now, judge, for this edition of Road Warrior, and a test drive behind the wheel of the 2017 Nissan Pathfinder, the 4th generation, 3 decades of an SUV that has really seen a true evolution from a truck-like vehicle to more of a refined what you see here. What we like, of course, is it still delivers that 4-wheel drive prowess, increase in horsepower, and even increase in towing. And as always, you've got that 3 rows of occupancy for family, friends, and as many people as you can throw in there. Now, as always, thank you for watching this edition of Road Warrior. Keep both hands on the wheel and eyes straight ahead.